here's the general pattern of Paley's argument, right? So he uses a watch. Now, I know most of us probably don't even use watches these days because of our cell phones, but the analogy can still hold, right? If we look at a watch, what do we infer here? There's a lot of moving parts. It's very complex. It looks put together. So if we found this watch on the beach, what kind of inference could we make? Well, here we go. There's got to be a watchmaker, right? What happens when we look at the universe, when we look at the complexity of planets and natural life on Earth? Single-celled organisms are very complex. So it usually is an argument that says there are certain facts about the world, specifically that it exhibits purpose and order. Premise 2, the ordering of the universe must come from an intelligent designer. Just like we say that the purpose of this watch must come from a watchmaker, therefore there must be an intelligent designer to account for the observed order. So just like we infer that the watch had a watchmaker, we can infer that the universe had a universe maker, and that universe maker or designer is God. All right, so what are some objections? Well, famously, a lot of people think that this argument is weak because the analogy is weak. One, the universe does not necessarily exhibit that much order or purpose. So many critics of the teleological argument argue that if we look out into the universe, a lot of things just happen randomly without purpose. That a lot of stars die, a lot of things occur in the universe with no particular reason or rhyme or order, right? So the analogy doesn't hold. Secondly, we do not know enough about our universe to compare it to anything like watches. We know watches are made by humans because we made them, right? So it's an improper analogy to take something like the universe as a whole and compare it to a watch. That analogy is just too weak. Not only that, it's not like we can compare the universe to other universes, right? We just don't have that kind of information at our disposal. We can certainly compare watches to other technology, but we can't compare the universe to other universes, at least not yet. Other critics will argue that the argument commits the fallacy of composition. It's not the case that whatever is true of the parts needs to be true of the whole. So the fallacy of composition is essentially the fallacy like all the parts of Anthony's bike are cheap, therefore Anthony's bike is cheap, right? That's committing the fallacy of composition. So what this charge is alleging is that since we can point to individual things, or even if we can point to individual things that have design, like watches and iPhones, it doesn't mean that the sum total of everything together must have a designer, right? So this is a common charge against the teleological argument that it commits the fallacy of composition.